Almost 75 years ago, India and Pakistan, as an independent country, set out on a journey. In 1971, there was another dramatic episode which resulted in the creation of Bangladesh, and therefore one entity eventually became three entities: India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny.
Let me make it very clear to you. Leave no doubt that the state language of Pakistan is going to be Urdu and no other language.
7 কোটি মানুষকে দাবায় রাখতে পারবো না।
So today we will see, after all these years, where we stand today. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I will compare some of the important parameters for India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, just to get an idea how an individual in these countries are living, which country in true sense is in a better position. Of course, from outside, since India is a very big country and it has a much bigger economic size, the total economy, the total GDP, it sometimes appears that India is perhaps far more powerful than Pakistan or, for that matter, Bangladesh. But we will see today that when we normalize it per capita, then we get a completely different scenario, or we may get a slightly different scenario. So without further delay, let us analyze those parameters and see where we actually stand and which country ranks number 1, which country ranks number 2, and which country ranks number 3. So first let's talk about the GDP or the total GDP, and of course there are different kind of GDPs like nominal GDP, PPP and etc. So I'm not going into the detail, okay? India's total GDP according to 2023 World Bank data, it stands out as 3.55 trillion. So that is 3,550 billion USD, American dollar, okay? For Pakistan, this number is $339 billion approximately. I'm just rounding up the last decimal. And for Bangladesh, this number is approximately 438 billion, okay? And this is, of course, I'm talking about the total GDP. But now there is a twist. When you will normalize it, or otherwise when you will calculate GDP per capita, because of course India is much more populous and therefore its total GDP is bound to be much more. Okay, so when we will normalize it, that is, we will calculate GDP per capita, then we get, for India, this is 2,485 USD. Okay, for Pakistan, this number is 1,407. That is significantly less than India, almost 1,000 USD less than India. But for Bangladesh, this number is actually 2,529 USD per capita. Okay, so Bangladesh is clearly ahead of Pakistan, but it is also slightly ahead of India. This is of course 2023 data. In the last 1 year, there might be certain changes in the scenario because, as you know, Bangladesh has gone through some kind of political upheaval, some kind of instability. So there might be a new number, refined number by the time we reach 2024. Now, of course, income GDP per capita is one parameter, a very important parameter, but also depending on inflation and what kind of Forex reserve you have, what kind of debit you have, how much money you have borrowed from other countries or other banks. In reality, the effective GDP per capita can be slightly different. And therefore, let us pick up some other important parameters. I call them more intrinsic parameters, like life expectancy, how long an average people live in these countries. As for 2022 World Bank data, for India, this number is actually 68. For Pakistan, this number is 66. That is, an average Pakistani live 2 years less than an average Indian. But astoundingly, for Bangladesh, this number is 74. So on an average, Bangladeshi people live 6 years longer than India and almost 8 years longer than Pakistan. Here I must mention that one renowned doctor, namely Dr. Jafarullah Chaudhary in Bangladesh, he played a monumental role in ensuring Bangladesh's public health facilities. So a lot of credit must be given to this man who is no more with us. Last year, I think he passed away. Now let us pick up another important parameter, that is fertility rate. which basically means how many children an average women in these countries produce. So again, here according to 2022 data, this number is 2 for India. For Pakistan, this number is 3.41, and for Bangladesh, this number is 1.95. So an average Pakistani woman produces around 3.4 kids, whereas for Bangladesh, this number is below 2, and for India, it is just above 2. In this populous country, since we are basically trying to control our population, and therefore here also Bangladesh is actually ahead of India and Pakistan. Now just to give you an idea how extraordinary the Bangladesh's achievement here, if we go back to 1981, at that time, that is 10 years after Bangladesh's independence from the Pakistan, this number was 6.7 for Pakistan, and for Bangladesh this number was 6.24. So basically Pakistan and Bangladesh was almost at the same level. But from there, if you see the trajectory of Bangladesh, this is quite mind-blowing. For India in 1981, this number was 4.70. And therefore, of course, India has made a lot of progress, but compared to India, the rate of progress of Bangladesh has been much more. Finally, let us touch upon another very important parameter, that is Forex reserve. Because all of us need to import a lot of goods like electronic chips or electronic devices for that matter, agricultural products, fertilizer, and so on and so forth. And for that we need dollar. Of course, cannot pay using our own currency, be it Bangladeshi taka or Indian rupees or Pakistani rupees. We would need American dollar. And for that matter, Forex reserve is very, very important. And for India, this number stands around $644 billion. For Pakistan, this is only $16 billion, and for Bangladesh, this is around $24 billion. Here, even considering the fact that India is much more populous, almost 7-8 times populous than Bangladesh, still, if you multiply Bangladesh's foreign reserve by 10 or 20, still it is much, much less than India. So here, clearly, India is much ahead of Pakistan or Bangladesh, even in terms of per capita comparison. So in conclusion, what we see, Bangladesh is ahead of India and Pakistan in so far some of the very important parameters are concerned, like GDP per capita, life expectancy, fertility rate, etc. etc. On the other hand, India has much stronger Forex reserve, and Pakistan on the other hand is significantly lacking behind Bangladesh and India. And of course here it is important to mention, as I tried to hint at the beginning, India is a much bigger country. It has a total GDP which is much more than Pakistan and Bangladesh. Therefore, from outside, it will always look much stronger. It also has much bigger army and many institutes of academic excellence and so on and so forth. But on the individual level, the scenario might be quite different, as you can clearly see from the data. Just to understand these things from a different perspective, let us consider China. As we know that China's total GDP is just after United States, right? But when it comes to GDP per capita, then you will be surprised to know that China ranks between 60 and 70. So before China, there are 60 or 70 countries. But from outside, when we talk about the superpowers, we always say it is USA and then China. But the reality of China, when it boils down to their individual people, is actually quite different. So here is a question for you. Can you guess which country has the highest GDP per capita? Please leave a comment in the comment box. And please let me know your thought. What do you think altogether, which country is in a better position? India, Pakistan or Bangladesh? See you again with another video. Bye bye.